At the heart of Southeast Asia's largest aerospace exhibition, the LIMA 2025 Airshow exploded into life as thunder roared from the skies above Langkawi, Malaysia, and all eyes turned upward toward a spectacle that stunned the world. The arrival of Russia's elite aerobatic team, the Russian Knights, soar into the clouds in their fearsome Su-35 heavy fighters. With afterburners blazing and vapor trails slicing through the tropical air, the Russian Knights didn't just fly. They tore open the heavens with display of precision, raw power, and maneuverability that left the crowd gasping and military analysts around the globe talking. As the team initiated a breathtaking diamond formation, each Su-35 perfectly locked into position with inches to spare, the sky turned into a canvas for a deadly ballet of technology and training, with the roars of their Saturn 41 F-1S engines drowning out everything else. These twin-engine supermaneuverable multi-role fighters are among Russia's most advanced combat aircraft, capable of speeds up to Mach 2.25 and equipped with thrust-vectoring nozzles that allow them to perform acrobatic feats no Western jet can replicate with ease. As they pulled into a vertical climb, nose over into a falling leaf maneuver, and spiraled downward with controlled chaos, the crowd stood frozen in awe. This wasn't just an airshow stunt. This was a demonstration of Moscow's aviation prowess, projected halfway across the globe. Each Su-35 flashed its distinctive blue-white livery, with red stars glinting in the sun, a bold reminder of Russia's proud military tradition and a challenge to Western dominance in the skies. Analysts noted that these aircraft, while lacking stealth compared to America's fifth-generation jets like the F-22 Raptor or F-35 Lightning II, make up for it with raw kinetic agility, electronic warfare capabilities, and a combat loadout that can rival any NATO counterpart. And here at Lima, far from the frozen north or the battleground of Eastern Europe, the Russian Knights were not just performing, they were sending a message. While tensions continue to simmer globally, from Ukraine to Pacific, Russia is proving that it can still project power, inspire awe, and dominate headlines in regions where geopolitical influence is contested. But make no mistake, beneath the sleek aerobatics lies the muscle of war. Each Su-35 can carry up to 8 tons of munitions, from air-to-air R-77s and R-73s to precision-guided bombs and anti-ship missiles. With a combat radius exceeding 1,600 kilometers without refueling, these birds are built not just to show off, but to go deep, hit hard, and survive. As the formation suddenly broke, and one aircraft performed the signature Cobra maneuver, nose pointing vertically while maintaining forward motion, the crowd erupted. No Western aircraft performs this move as cleanly in combat configuration, and it's a stunning reminder of the Su-35's aerodynamic design that traces its roots to the legendary Su-27 flanker lineage. Back on the tarmac, journalists scrambled to get exclusive interviews. Spectators waved flags and phones in the air, and military delegations from Southeast Asia to the Middle East watched carefully. Many nations now caught between U.S. influence and growing ties with Russia and China are looking at defense deals not just through the lens of performance, but geopolitics. The Russian presence at Lima was no accident. It was a calculated soft power projection wrapped in titanium, radar systems, and thunder. Each roll, loop, and pass over the Langkawi coast echoed a deeper message. Russia is here, and it's not going anywhere. While the U.S. often dominates headlines with stealth and digital warfare, Russia's approach leans into physical might, maneuverability, and a tradition of pilot skill honed through decades of high-G dogfighting doctrine. And let's not forget, these aren't showpiece planes. The Su-35s flying today are frontline fighters, capable of intercepting cruise missiles, going toe-to-toe with Western airframes, and launching from rough runways deep in contested zones. That said, Western observers remain cautious. Though dazzling in flight, the Su-35 still lacks the network-centric warfare integration, low observable coatings, and satellite drone fusion that define U.S. fifth-gen platforms. But in terms of raw speed, climb rate, and aerodynamic stunts, the Su-35 remains king of the skies, and at Lima 2025, it reclaimed its throne. Meanwhile, U.S. and NATO allies watch from afar, perhaps reconsidering how they market their stealth fighters to nations caught in the gray zone of global alignment. From the heart of Langkawi's tarmac to the war rooms in Washington, the message was loud and clear. Ignore the Russian bear at your peril. And for aviation lovers, This was a once-in-a-lifetime show, history in motion, power in formation, and a jet-fueled thrill ride that transcended politics, language, and borders. As the Russian Knights pulled into a high-speed pass, crisscrossing a thunderous X above the control tower and sending shockwaves through the humid air, it wasn't just sound, it was symbolism. The battle for the skies isn't just about who has the most advanced aircraft on paper. It's about who can fly them with purpose, precision, and a mission to inspire. Whether you were watching from the crowd or thousands of miles away through a digital screen, one thing became certain that day. The Su-35 isn't just a fighter. It's a flying symbol of Russian defiance, elegance, and might. And for one unforgettable afternoon in Langkawi, it ruled the sky with wings of steel, fire, and pride. As the final echo of jet thunder rolled across the waters surrounding Langkawi and the Russian Knights executed their final breakaway maneuver with surgical precision, a deeper narrative began to unfold beyond the smoke trails and synchronized roars, one that carried geopolitical weight, military foresight, and strategic consequences that rippled far past the airshow tarmac. Defense officials from across the Indo-Pacific region, representing nations from Malaysia, Indonesia, and Vietnam to the Philippines and Myanmar, didn't just watch the Su-35 in awe. They studied it, analyzed its capabilities, and assessed its implications in a rapidly shifting security environment increasingly marked by U.S.-China competition, Russian resurgence, and technological brinkmanship. For many, the presence of the Russian Knights was more than aerial entertainment. It was a rare first-hand glimpse into one of the most lethal aircraft ever to emerge from Russian engineering, flying not in war-torn Eastern Europe, but here, in the tropics of Southeast Asia. As questions about future alliances, arms purchases, and defense autonomy swirl behind closed doors, the Su-35 served as both a conversation starter and a pressure point. What could this jet mean if operated by a regional neighbor? What happens if Russian military-industrial partnerships deepen in ASEAN, with China already operating a variant of the Su-35 and expanding its own stealth fleet of J-20s, and with tensions high in the South China Sea? The idea of multiple powers wielding such aircraft in close quarters becomes not just tactical but strategic, a chessboard of engines, missiles, and alliances. The Su-35's combat credibility is no longer hypothetical. It has seen deployments in Syria, where Russian pilots use its speed and sensor fusion to perform real-world operations in contested environments, from precision strikes to air superiority patrols against NATO-aligned assets. Its radar, the Airshow, allows detection of aerial targets at up to 400 kilometers, while its electronic warfare suite, combined with advanced missiles like the R-77-1 and R-37M, give it the capability to strike first and strike hard, even against stealthier opponents. But at LIMA 2025, the message wasn't just about what the Su-35 could do. It was about where it could do it and who was watching. Russian officials mingled with Southeast Asian dignitaries, quietly promoting Moscow's doctrine of sovereign defense solutions, a pitch that appeals to nations weary of Western strings or eager to diversify their arsenals. Unlike U.S. systems that often require deep integration, complex oversight, and political alignment, Russian jets like the Su-35 come with a different kind of offer: raw performance, robust durability, and fewer conditions, all of which matter in a region navigating its own path between great powers. And it wasn't just about hardware. The pilots of the Russian Knights, each one a highly decorated veteran, put on a masterclass in discipline and control. Every formation, every loop, every role performed under extreme G-forces reminded the world that Russian aviators train not only for performance, but for endurance, aggression, and warfighting. Behind each graceful pass was a philosophy forged from decades of high-speed Cold War competition. Always train as if tomorrow's flight might be your last. But for all the thrill and awe, the presence of the Su-35 at LIMA also reignited debates within Western defense circles. Are air shows like this giving rivals too much visibility into advanced combat aircraft? Are Western allies losing ground in the soft power arms race, letting Russia showcase its hardware to eager buyers in regions once solidly pro-NATO? The answer, according to some analysts, is yes. While the U.S. continues to prioritize stealth, data fusion, and global logistics, Russia is capitalizing on spectacle. The kind of in-your-face, fuel-burning, G-force-defying power that speaks volumes without a single word. And let's be clear, the Su-35's edge lies not just in performance, but in perception. At a time when many air forces are transitioning to drones and AI-enhanced platforms, the visceral presence of four Su-35s ripping across a tropical sky reminds the world that manned fighters, piloted by elite warfighters, still command fear and respect. That presence is priceless when it comes to influence. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, whispers of deals, partnerships, and potential procurements buzz through the halls. Could Malaysia revisit Russian aircraft after previous flirtations with the MiG-29 and Su-30? Could Indonesia, already eyeing Su-35s, reignite stalled deals now that the jet has put on such a compelling show in their own backyard? And could Vietnam, facing off against increasing pressure in the South China Sea, see the Su-35 as a way to hedge against both Chinese aggression and U.S. dependency? These aren't far-off questions. They are live wires, crackling beneath the surface of every handshake, every photo op, and every post-show press conference. But beyond the geopolitics, the Su-35's display also struck a chord with aviation lovers around the world. Those who understand the soul of flight, the way the knights use the sky as their stage, painting arcs of fire and fury, reminded viewers that beyond radar cross-sections and command and control networks, there is still room for raw, breathtaking aerial dominance. No amount of algorithmic targeting or AI-assisted flight paths can replace what was seen at LIMA 2025, the deep growl of twin turbofans spooling up in unison, the split-second timing of knife-edge passes, the tension of vapor shockwaves forming at the tips of titanium wings. These are the moments that define not only the capabilities of a machine, but the bravery of a human soul flying it. And when the last Su-35 made its slow, regal descent onto the Langkawi runway, flaps extended, gear down, canopy shimmering in tropical heat, the applause wasn't just polite. It was thunderous, emotional, and deeply respectful. Because whether you're an airshow rookie or a hardened defense analyst, one thing became undeniable that day. The Su-35, in the hands of the Russian Knights, isn't just an aircraft, it's an experience. An experience that now echoes far beyond Malaysia, seeding conversations in military halls from Ankara to Abu Dhabi, from New Delhi to Hanoi. Even as the U.S. prepares to push forward with its sixth-generation NG-80 programs, even as Europe touts its upcoming Tempest and FCS systems, the Su-35 carves out its place not through promises of future dominance, but by proving its might in the present, with smoke trails, sonic booms, and unwavering confidence. And with every photograph captured, every video that went viral, every pair of eyes turned skyward that day, Russia's strategy paid off. Not with words, not with threats, but with flight. As the sun began to dip behind the lush Langkawi hills, casting long shadows over the airshow grounds, the impact of the Russian Knights Su-35 demonstration continued to resonate, not just among the thousands of spectators gathered along the coastline, but across the strategic corridors of global military power, where decisions are often made based on the subtle signals sent by displays like this one. The Su-35, with its impressive blend of raw speed, supermaneuverability, and advanced avionics, had once again shown why it remains a centerpiece of Russia's tactical aviation arsenal, proving to skeptics and admirers alike that it is much more than a relic of Cold War engineering. It is a potent, modern platform designed for 21st century warfare. In the minds of military planners watching from afar, the LIMA 2025 performance was a vivid case study in what a fourth-generation plus fighter, with enhanced thrust vectoring and cutting-edge radar systems, can bring to the table, especially when flown by pilots who have honed their skills in some of the world's most challenging and hostile theaters of conflict. But beyond the technical and tactical dimensions, the event illuminated the evolving nature of air power diplomacy, the way nations use not only treaties and contracts, but also carefully orchestrated public displays of military capability to project influence, sway undecided allies, and disrupt established power balances. The Russian Knights, in their shimmering blue and white Su-35s, weren't just flying for show. They were flying for geopolitical currency in a region where the lines between cooperation and competition blur every day. Southeast Asia, with its rapidly growing economies and strategic waterways, has become a focal point for global powers, each seeking to secure partnerships and footholds to protect trade routes and assert military presence. The presence of the Su-35 at LIMA was a clear signal that Russia intends to be a key player in this high-stakes arena, offering a potent alternative to Western and Chinese options in the defense market. What makes the Su-35 particularly attractive to these nations is its balance of cost and capability. While the aircraft boasts avionics and armaments that approach the edge of what many Western fourth-generation fighters offer, it comes at a price point often more accessible to emerging air forces. Additionally, Russia's willingness to offer favorable financing, technology transfers, and less politically restrictive terms makes the Su-35 an enticing package for countries navigating the complex web of international alliances and economic pressures. This regional context cannot be overstated. For example, Indonesia, which has been modernizing its air force at a brisk pace, recently signaled renewed interest in acquiring Su-35s, viewing them as an affordable means to quickly elevate its defensive reach across its vast archipelago. Similarly, Malaysia, historically reliant on Western platforms but keen to diversify suppliers and avoid overdependence, watched the display intently, weighing the pros and cons of adding such a powerful aircraft to its fleet. Meanwhile, the Philippines and Vietnam, increasingly concerned about maritime incursions and territorial disputes in the South China Sea, see the Su-35 as part of a broader deterrent strategy, a way to signal readiness and technological parity to regional rivals without the heavy political baggage that sometimes accompanies American or allied hardware. On the technical front, the Su-35 continues to push the boundaries of what a non-stealth aircraft can achieve in a contested battle space. Its Urbis-E radar system, with its phase array capabilities, provides long-range target tracking and engagement, enabling the jet to detect and track multiple targets simultaneously at distances that challenge even fifth-generation fighters. Paired with its formidable electronic countermeasures suite, the Su-35 is designed to survive and dominate in environments saturated with enemy sensors and surface-to-air missile threats. The jet's engines, equipped with 3D thrust vectoring nozzles, grant an unmatched level of agility, allowing pilots to execute sudden changes in direction and speed that can outmatch most adversaries in dogfight scenarios. This capability was on full display during the Airshow, where maneuvers such as the Pugachev's Cobra and the Cobra reversal dazzle the audience and serve as a stark reminder of Russia's deep expertise in aerodynamic design and pilot training. Importantly, these maneuvers are not mere theatrics. They have genuine combat applications, enabling pilots to quickly reverse course or evade missile locks in ways few Western aircraft can replicate as fluidly. But the performance also underscored the human factor in modern air combat. The skill, bravery, and discipline of pilots who operate these complex machines at the limits of human endurance. The Russian Knights' flawless execution of tight formations, high-speed passes, and low-level flying demonstrated not only technical proficiency, but also trust and teamwork built through years of rigorous training and operational experience. These pilots, often veterans of conflicts in Syria and beyond, bring real-world combat lessons into their routines, blending tactical innovation with the showmanship necessary to captivate and intimidate. This human element is often underestimated in discussions about modern air power, where stealth technology and network sensors dominate the conversation. Yet, as LIMA 2025 showed, the pilot's capability remains a crucial force multiplier, shaping the outcome of engagements and the perceptions of allies and adversaries alike. Beyond the tactical and strategic implications, the Su-35 appearance at LIMA also sparked renewed debate about the future of manned fighters in an era increasingly dominated by drones, artificial intelligence, and autonomous systems. While many militaries are investing heavily in unmanned combat aerial vehicles, UCAVs, and swarms, the Russian Knights' performance was a vivid reminder that manned fighters continue to play an essential role, especially in contested environments where split-second decisions, adaptability, and human judgment are critical. The Su-35's ability to combine advanced avionics with pilot intuition creates a lethal synergy that drones have yet to fully replicate, making it a vital asset for any air force seeking to maintain air superiority in the near to mid-term future. However, this does not mean the Su-35 is without its challenges. Critics point out that despite its impressive capabilities, the aircraft lacks the low observability of stealth platforms, making it more vulnerable in high-tech air defense environments dominated by integrated sensor networks and long-range surface-to-air missiles. Additionally, its operational costs and maintenance requirements, while lower than some Western counterparts, still represent a significant investment that might limit widespread adoption among smaller air forces. Still, the The balance Russia strikes with the Su-35, offering a highly capable, battle-tested fighter at a competitive price, ensures it remains a key player in the global fighter market, especially as geopolitical tensions continue to fuel arms modernization programs around the world. As the last echoes of the Su-35's powerful engines faded into the tropical evening air over Langkawi, the crowd remained electrified, their applause a testament not just to the showmanship, but to the undeniable power and precision on display. The Russian knights had delivered a performance that transcended mere spectacle. It was a deliberate and calculated projection of strength, a vivid reminder that in the complex dance of modern military power, dominance in the skies remains a critical currency. For the United States and its allies, witnessing such a demonstration serves as a stark call to action, underscoring the urgency to advance their own aerial capabilities, pilot training programs, and tactical doctrines to maintain air superiority in an era defined by rapid technological change and evolving geopolitical threats. The Su-35's blend of formidable speed, advanced avionics, and unparalleled agility represents a benchmark that must be met or exceeded by Western counterparts to ensure dominance not only in conventional air combat, but also in the multi-domain operations of the future. At the same time, the display highlighted the importance of strategic partnerships and presence in regions like Southeast Asia, where air shows such as LIMA are more than entertainment. They are arenas of influence where nations showcase their military technology, signal commitments to allies, and subtly challenge rivals. The Russian Knights aerial ballet was a clear message to all watching. Russia remains a formidable player in the global defense landscape, capable of exporting cutting-edge combat aircraft and maintaining a military presence far beyond its immediate borders. This presence is not just about hardware. It is also about geopolitics, about forging relationships through defense sales, joint exercises, and shared military knowledge. It reflects a broader strategy of engagement aimed at reshaping regional security architectures and countering Western influence, especially in strategically vital corridors like the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean. Furthermore, the Su-35 performance at LIMA 2025 invites a broader reflection on the future of air combat itself. Despite the growing buzz around unmanned systems, artificial intelligence, and network-centric warfare, the demonstration made it clear that the human pilot remains a decisive factor in aerial warfare, a factor that technology, for all its advances, has yet to fully replace. The synergy between the Su-35's sophisticated systems and the pilot's skill underlines the continuing relevance of manned fighters in maintaining air dominance, particularly in environments where split-second decisions and adaptability can determine survival or victory. However, this does not diminish the challenges ahead. The global military balance is shifting rapidly, with fifth-generation stealth fighters, hypersonic weapons, and cyber warfare capabilities transforming how nations prepare for conflict. To meet these challenges, the U.S. and its partners must pursue innovation relentlessly, invest in the next generation of aircraft, and cultivate the kind of pilot excellence exemplified by the Russian Knights. The competition for the skies is intensifying, and no country can afford complacency. In conclusion, the Russian Knights' thrilling aerial display of the Su-35 at LIMA 2025 was a spectacular fusion of technology, talent, and tactical signaling, a performance that not only captivated audiences, but also delivered a powerful message about the future of air power and international security. As these mighty jets roared above the Malaysian coast, they carried with them the weight of history, the realities of current geopolitical tensions, and the promise of future battles yet to be fought. For military enthusiasts, defense strategists, and global watchers alike, the event underscored one undeniable truth. The skies remain the ultimate frontier of military power and dominance that will shape the fate of nations for decades to come. Whether through innovation, alliance building, or sheer pilot skill, the pursuit of air superiority will continue to define the edge of military competition, a pursuit that the Russian Knights, flying the mighty Su-35, demonstrated with breathtaking clarity at LIMA 2025.